Hello, I'm Dr. Jim Haendiges, and I teach in the English department at Dixie State University. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about active learning and my Writing for Interactive Media course. The Center for Teaching and Learning here at Dixie State University defines active learning as an instructional method that engages learners in the learning process by requiring learners to do meaningful activities and think about what they are doing as opposed to passively listening to an expert. Writing courses are a prime example of active learning as they involve higher order learning, critical thinking, application of knowledge, metacognition, and they involve collaborative group work and experiential learning. People often misidentify active learning activities as physical activities or outdoor activities, but I want to show you active learning as it takes place in a writing classroom. In this segment, I want to talk about the exercises that I do in my English 3180 course that show active learning. Particularly, I want to show how my students work on podcasts and documentaries using scripts. A key program learning outcome for the English department is PLO 4, Research and Information Literacy. This PLO states that students will conduct advanced research and produce scholarly, technical, and/or creative writing for potential publication and/or formal presentation that exhibits sound rhetorical structure and source integration. With this PLO in mind, students in English courses can expect to apply their skills in composing with supporting materials to multiple mediums. After all, the core strength of an English major is to critically read a text and critically write a text. English 3180 begins with an understanding that communication is made through multiple modes, mainly visual, oral, gestural, spatial, and linguistic modes. These modes can be combined or isolated. They can complement or complicate communications. Writing for interactive media begins with writing, so we begin this course with writing scripts. Upper division English students don't always have expertise in audio or video editing, but they do have knowledge and expertise in structuring a critical analysis and adding source material.
I think some of the writing skills that we used were research skills because we had to learn about the topics for our podcast and our documentary, and we had to craft an outline just like you would for an essay with the beginning, the middle, and the end. We also had to craft interview questions for people that helped us with our projects so that we could get the kind of answers that we needed.
You'd be working as a team to come up with a script for like a video and then just kind of working through problems, trying to figure out which way we should go. Like we would do a Google Doc for our script and we'd all be on it and we'd just, in the comments be talking like, hey, where do we want to go with the script? Where are we going? If something like a problem came up, we would address the problem and fix it and then figure out where we're going from there. And I feel like that would be defined as like active and that you're working as like a team.
Brainstorm ideas, and then we have to plan it out, and we have to create an outline, which is like the script for our podcast and documentary. So we have to use our writing skills in that sense because we can't just dive in and start recording and do whatever we want. There's a lot of planning and prep that goes into place before we actually go and record.
A key exercise in this class is to get students to create a written script and then record media in a different mode. The process of converting a script to a media project constitutes a meaningful activity involving higher order and critical thinking, application of knowledge, metacognition, and collaboration.
I really enjoyed working with my group. Brooke and McCoy are really cool, and they're really good at pulling their weight, and so I felt like I wasn't in charge and I wasn't bossing them around because we all kind of just naturally just did our thing and it worked out really well. So I really enjoyed that.
It's kind of daunting, but once I found my stride with it and having them there with me, telling me how things sound or what I could do to change it really helped. So I think, overall just having a great group really made it a lot less stressful and a lot more doable.
I don't want to understate the fact that many students are intimidated by putting a podcast and a documentary together. But oftentimes students find that their excitement starts to take over and they start using the skills that they've developed as an English major to create the projects.
The recording was a little bit intimidating at the radio station, but it was a lot of fun to learn it in a new environment. And
I'm taking these things and I'm putting them from the page into something that's actually visual and doing all sorts of different things with it, and it's just really getting to be very fun for me.
I think it takes a lot of brain work to organize, especially in group work. You have an assignment, you have to assign parts, you have to think about what are the many pieces that have to come together at the right times to make this a successful project.
Me personally, getting what I think has been the most beneficial for me was the concept of adaptive learning and not being so intimidated by a project and just automatically saying, no, I can't do this without giving it a try, especially when it comes to media.
This stuff's been it's been very practical applications that help out with other stuff besides just writing.
I've never done a podcast before, so I thought that was really fun to do. So especially with the script that we've written, and of course we went off the script quite a bit, but at least we had a guideline. So that was really nice. So to see, you've got to write this, have a guideline, and then you can actively put it together into real life, especially, as a documentary, pod script, whatever you want to do.
So it's not just sitting down and typing a paper, which is brain work in itself and is active learning, active life in itself, but coming up with an entire project that has different elements like audio resources and sourcing and visual concepts and all of these other bits of information that we don't even think of generally as English majors. It's really kind of opened my eyes as to what a full education is in an academic setting for an English major, and some of the pieces that I've really been missing of my education.
Writing and reading text is critical in active learning activities. I've even put together this documentary just to show you how even a professor can be active in all this. So I'm glad you joined us, and stay tuned for more active learning segments in writing.
I feel really weird talking to myself.
Yes, you can just pretend that you're...
Okay, I'm just gonna move the mouse around.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Talking into the microphone. Just gonna start saying some random words. Rectangle.
Legitimate movie about aliens.
Oh, it is. It is a very legitimate.
So it's good to know that.
Okay, here. Oh, that's gonna be awful. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but no, I'm just this tripod is all jerky. No, you're good. Okay, cool. In this segment, I want to talk about the writing exercises that my students do. Wow, this is just going worse and worse. So yeah, how have you experienced active learning in this class?
Oh, sorry, hold on. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Special collections. Radio Dixie.
I like it.
Soundproof room.
I had Reese's Puffs, it's my all-time favorite cereal, but it was kind of a bummer because it ran out halfway through the bowl, so I got half a bowl plus some dust, which is always a bummer. But I don't.
Yuck.
I'm not good at gauging how much cereal's in it because they're all puffy and full there, so we don't really know.
People,
Styrofoam walls. I don't think they're styrofoam. I think it's just like a regular, like squishy foam.
in this segment, I want to talk about how my students. Uh-oh. What I was going to say. A writing course is a prime example. That sounds really aggressive. A writing course is a prime example.
One has a colorful keyboard, and I really like that.
All right. I'm going to talk about things and stuff. It's going to be great.